So supposedly we have a huge winter storm headed our way, ice storm, snowstorm. They're saying some places are supposed to get like a foot of snow, over a foot of snow. And if you don't get the snow, you're going to get a bunch of ice that's going to cripple the infrastructure and threaten your life because it's supposed to be like, 10 degrees afterwards. Basically, all the weather stuff to get everybody freaked out. And this is the context. This is the season when we have got to the men of the world, the thinking ones, the ones with intuition, need to get our messaging out, right? We need to message we need to message within this context, because what do we see going on right now? Besides the obvious, everybody's hoarding milk, hoarding bread, just going into Walmart and just hoarding whatever they can to make themselves feel like they are in control of the situation. But then there is the slightly less obvious, more subconscious muscle memory side of things where everybody is, what are they doing? Well, they're buying their little Mr. Buddy heaters, or they're refilling their propane tanks. They're filling up the gas tanks in all their cars. They're getting their generators all running, making sure they're good to go. And this is when these are the opportunities and the moments when we need to crush the electric people. Now, I know it's like, oh, this guy, of course, he's got a big problem with electric cars. And I have a big problem with electric cars. I have a big problem with overly electric infrastructure, because it is insane and stupid. And it is, if the electric people, the tree huggers, the green freaks, if they get their way, if they get what they want, and they somehow manage to completely eliminate fossil fuels, and they manage to get us on a fully electric grid with no reliance on any other form of energy, it's going to get people killed. People will die. And this is the messaging when this is the context that we can and do crush the electric crowd. When it's 10 degrees, when the blizzard is hit, the ice storm is hit, and you have no electricity and you have nothing to get by, nothing to stay alive, what are you leaning on? Fossil fuels. The fossil fuels are the only thing that you have to keep you alive. This is the time when I have, in preparation, I have gone through and done my usual checks, done my usual preparations to make sure that me and my family are going to remain safe through this storm and stay warm, and nobody's gonna die or get injured or traumatized or whatever could possibly go wrong. I've got multiple lines of defense. When I bought my house, unfortunately, it had a wood fireplace, but it was unfortunately extremely inefficient and ineffective. And just due to cost reasons and whatnot, I converted the fireplace into a propane fireplace. And I got rid of our electric range, and it was a present for Christmas for my wife. She doesn't like the electric cooktops. So I got rid of that and brought in a propane range. So now when we bought this house, it was a fully electric dependent home, electric heat, electric cook, just everything electric. And I have done my part and diversified the energy. I've diversified the house. So now, because the house is primarily on electric heat, if we lose power, I have a gas fireplace that I can turn on, and we have heat through the fireplace. The fireplace also has a fan, and I have a generator that is full of gas, running good, ready to go, that I can hook the fireplace up to Now we've got the fireplace with a fan, generator running. Life can march on in this situation. As a backup, if the generator were to fail for some reason, I've got a buddy heater with the 20-pound tank conversion hose, and I've got two 20-pound propane tanks full of propane on hand, ready to go for the heater if we get to the point where we need it. And then my final line of defense is I own multiple vehicles, and they all have full tanks of gas. They run good, they run reliably with good heaters. And if somehow worse comes to worse, it's a day after tomorrow situation, we've got plenty of cars full of gas. If gas becomes unavailable but the generator's still running, I also have a way to siphon the fuel out of my gas tanks and into my generator to keep the heat going and keep us marching on. Now, are these things that I have done in the wake of this news cycle saying that we've got some crazy storm coming? No, for the most part, no. With the news breaking, I've gone and topped off my propane tanks, filled up all the tanks of gas. We did a little, just, an extra shopping trip, before the panic even happened. As soon as the news broke, I'm like, hey, let's go run to the store, top up on groceries, just make sure we're good. We didn't hoard anything. It was just kind of a top up, top off on groceries, make sure we're good. That way, if we're stuck in the house for a while, we're fed, kids are fed, everything is good. These are the situations where preparedness is the only thing that is going to keep you alive in a worst case scenario. The green people have no answers and no solutions for these situations. If the green people get their way and they push fossil fuels completely out of our lives, and we have fully electric houses with electric heat, electric cooking, electric car, and hell freezes over and your family dies, the green cult that pushed this situation on us and the legislators in DC and your state capital, right? The people that sign this stuff into law to push these life-saving and critical things out of our lives and force us to depend on electric, they do not care if this costed your family your life. Matter of fact, they will go as far as they will stand on your grave and say, all these people died because climate change made the weather worse, and the severe winter storm came, killed all these people. We need to lean even harder into all of this green stuff, renewable, whatever. These people do not care how these policies affect you at the end of the day. They do not care they don't care if these policies cost you your life and cost you your family's life. If they could, they would in a second ban gasoline, ban generators, ban propane. They would ban every last bit of it. They even want to ban wood burning fireplaces in some jurisdictions of this country. It's crazy. So, these are the times when the messaging needs to be loud and clear that the green agenda has no answers for these situations. Fossil fuels are the one and only lifeline when the grid goes down. I've heard about these Tesla solar panel generator things. Heard about it, seen it, looked it up. They don't have the efficiency that a gasoline or a diesel generator has, not even close. That is not going to keep you alive. If there's a blizzard, extended dark days due to heavy cloud cover, that thing is not going to be able to charge as efficiently as it needs to even do the things you need it to do. So this is the time to recognize and remember that If you are a man with a family leaning on you and depending on you, they're depending on your preparedness and your wisdom. Do not be conned into an electric car. Don't be conned into this garbage. The electric cars, they're smooth, they're new, they're this, they're that, it's a fad. Just don't buy it. Be stout, be strong. Those are stupid. They offer me nothing. If all of my if the generator fails, the propane fails, if the fireplace runs out of propane, I've got a minivan in my driveway. I can fold the seats down, start it up, run the heat, and we're gonna get through this. You got an electric car out there? You've got nothing. You've got absolutely nothing. So this is the time that we need to be wise. This is the time that we need to be prudent and be prepared. Don't panic. The preparedness for these types of situations should be coming over a long period of time. You should be thinking about this in the summertime. You should be thinking about this when the season and the weather isn't calling for this panic. I bought my buddy heater on a random evening. I went into Walmart, saw a buddy heater there. I'm like, I don't own that. I'll buy it. There was no panic about this or that or snow or any. I mean, because if there was, it wouldn't have been there for me to buy. My propane tanks, I've had those things for years. We've got a little propane fire on the back patio that when we don't feel like lighting a real fire, we just want to kick it back there. We turn that thing on. So I've had those cylinders for a long time. Fireplace I had put in like a year after we moved into the house. I recognize the fact, hey, this house does not have a sufficient secondary form of heat that can operate independently of the primary's form of heat. That's another thing is when you own a home, you need to have two independent forms of heat so that if one fails, you can depend on the other. If your house has electric heat only, you have got to get serious about figuring out another way to heat that home if the electric fails. Gas fireplace, wood fireplace, pellet stove, you name it. Just start thinking of, if the electric fails, how else can I heat this home? Become a casual, natural prepper. Start to think about, if this fails, what's my backup? If this happens, what's my answer? So I've got a couple Bible verses that I want to share in the wake of this message I'm trying to get across. This is a verse that I would give to somebody who doesn't prepare for anything ever. And then something comes up, something happens, they panic and they overly they hoard, they just because they're not prepared, so they panic and they hoard. Proverbs 21:20. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fools gulp theirs down. Over time, just prepare in general. You won't have to go to Walmart and panic and buy bread and milk and just hoard all this stuff and take it from other people. If when you go grocery shopping, you buy a couple extra cans of canned chili. Buy extra this, extra that, just things that you can keep in the pantry that if this happens, especially if they don't predict it, you are not up a creek without a paddle. Don't be a hoarder, don't panic, stop going through life on autopilot. The problem with the Teslas and the electric people is they don't have that rainy day mentality. And what happens if power goes out? How can life go on? I've got these kids that are depending on me. When the system fails, my family's gonna turn and look at me and say, Dad, what are the answers? What do we do? You have got to have those answers. Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. This is a good verse for the people that they see these forecasts, they see this weather coming in, and they just completely panic. They freak out. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Well, for one, become a prepared person. Just become a generally prepared person. And for two, put it in the hands of God. Don't panic. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. Just worry about today. You're going to worry about tomorrow. You might not even make it through today. Be in prayer. Just relax. It'll be okay. Become a generally prepared person, and you'll find that tomorrow doesn't have so many worries after all. That's my message for today. A little bit of a combination message between the green hoarding, or the green people, the hippies, the people that think that they have all the answers for everything, and the people that panic and know that they have the answers for nothing, and they just see the news, see what's going on, they freak out and buy up all the food and all the resources from everybody else. Thank you for watching. If you have a prayer request or a comment, go ahead and drop it, and God bless.